Hey, good morning. It's Saturday morning, December 5th. It's a little bit wet outside, so I'm not going to be able to get outside this morning. And I'm going to take a break. Well, we're going to finish Psalm 98 and the Advent, Lord willing, tonight in the thoughts for the evening. But I'm compelled to encourage us to follow the words of Christ about how we can make an impact on the world around us. Right now, we live in a world that is largely driven by fear. Whether it's fear of what the government will or won't do, depending upon what your persuasion is politically. We live in fear of the coronavirus or in defiance of the coronavirus, depending upon, again, which camp you might be in. There's no question that the rights of people are being trampled on in any number of ways. I firmly believe that these ideas of government lockdowns across the board will actually do more harm than good. Having said all that, none of those things can be our top priority. Our top priority is to show the love of Christ to each other, to the world around us. In John 13, Jesus says these words. They're familiar words, and familiar words in Scripture can become a detriment to us because we tend to disregard them. But Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says, "A new commandment I give you." Now this is the Lord of the universe, the man who has just promised that he's going to die for them, although they hadn't figured it out that that's what he meant. He says, "A new commandment I give you." If the Lord of heaven and earth, and certainly we're in a position to know that much more fully than the disciples were and the apostles were at that point. So when Jesus says, "A new commandment I give you," it's time for a heads up and to listen carefully. Love one another. Well, you might say, we read all through the Old Testament, and you've told us before we have to love one another. But notice how he qualifies it. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. This is the new part, because Jesus has been here on earth, he's demonstrating his love, and he's about to demonstrate it again in just a few hours on the cross. That's what's new. They've never seen that kind of demonstration. They've seen types and figures of it. They've seen the sacrifices. They've seen courageous people give their lives for truth, but they've never seen this before. Indeed, human flesh has never seen this before. "A new commandment I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another." These are not suggestions, this is a command. This is overriding, overarching direction. All men will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. If we are interested in making the person of Jesus Christ known in this age of fear and concern and worry and loss of rights and all the rest of that, then what Jesus is saying is, if you want to make me known, love one another as I have loved you. I'm thinking particularly in application to, we need to be concerned about the coronavirus. How are we loving each other? There are very few places in the New Testament where we read that we're supposed to stand up for our rights first. But you will read, based upon this commandment, that we are to selflessly, sacrificially love and care for each other first. If your thoughts about the virus or about our rights as Americans, as Republicans, and whatever, if those are the first concerns that we have, we're not going to show the love of Christ to others. And that showing the love of Christ, knowing that we are his disciples, that is our primary mission. Are we caring for one another? Or are we standing up for our rights? We've got to be together no matter what. If there were an ice storm, you'd stay home. We've got to be wise. I'm not suggesting we stay home forever in terms of going and gathering, but we've got to be responsible. Yes, we need to be out and work, and the government's wrong to tell us we can't go out and work. And we've got to exercise caution, but we've got to care for one another. So whatever steps you take about correcting the virus and dealing with it, and all the upset in the government right now, first commandment, most important commandment, are we showing the love of Christ to each other so that everyone can see that our love for each other, our sacrificial love for each other, is the most important thing that we're about? And that's the thought for this morning. Do we have the courage to love as Christ loved us? That really is the new commandment. And that's the thought for this day. And Lord bless, and Lord willing, we'll finish up Psalm 98 tonight and our initial look at the Advent. You have a great day.